and welcome to the Gaia update for the new moon in Scorpio that's happening on Saturday, early in the morning on Saturday, November 18th. I'm Adrienne Elise. I hope you can join me for the live activation that's going to happen on Friday, November 17th at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and you can find where to sign up for that below. So we have a lot of Scorpio energy because we have Venus has gone into Scorpio and Jupiter is of course in Scorpio for this next year, and now the sun and the moon in Scorpio. So we're having a big energy of a kind of a culmination experience of the Scorpio energy, telling us what this Jupiter in Scorpio is all about. And Jupiter in Scorpio wanting to go into the depths of our truth, of what really matters, go in underneath the shadow, kind of get into the thick of it. And so a lot of us, especially with this Saturn square Chiron energy that we've been dealing with, have been feeling really pushed into some uncomfortable places. But remember that those places are about, it's really uncomfortable just before you break through to the next level, just before you shed your skin, just before you get to the next place. So know that what's coming up right now is really, really important for your path. And that's highlighted by the fact that just before this new moon, the sun makes a square to the nodes. And what that means is that the nodes, when the sun and the moon the sun lines up with the nodes, that's when we have eclipses. And so we're halfway between our eclipse cycles. So we're really feeling this North Node and Leo energy, this push towards a deeper, truer expression of who we are. But now we have to go into the Scorpio darkness to figure out who we are in order to be able to really bring that into the world, or maybe find what's in the way. Where did we get these belief systems, these belief patterns that make us think that we're not good enough, or we're not capable, or we're not supported, or this world doesn't have a place for us? Whatever the belief systems are that are keeping you from your true path and your true expression of who you really are, they're coming up right now. So it can be an intense time, but there's also just a huge amount of harmonious things happening. But one of the other tension points that's really potent on this new moon is that Mars is squaring up with Pluto exact on this new moon. And Mars and Pluto, sometimes you look at these astrology and you're like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, this is some divine alignment going on. Even if it's not the easiest aspects, there are messages here for us. There is magic happening in the sky, helping us to move forward in our evolution. And we're coming up against it. That Pluto and Capricorn is about the breakdown and the rebuild, death and rebirth, and the power of and in the sign of structures. So Pluto is our power planet, and so in death and rebirth and these cycles, the ruler of Scorpio, very powerful right now, in a square with Mars in detriment in Libra. Mars doesn't really like Libra. Libra's like, yeah, let's be really nice to each other, work it out. And Mars is like, full bore ahead. So Mars is kind of in a weakened place, but it actually has a neat message for us, is that can the warrior move forward? Can we have a harmonious way through these changes? And so Mars is like, in Libra, they're squaring up with Pluto and Capricorn, and it's talking about tension and finding diplomatic solutions. Using the tension in our life to find creative, diplomatic solutions that can work for everyone. And this is badly needed on the planet right now. And so a beautiful configuration there, even though it does have a lot of tension. And we're really feeling that Capricorn energy as Saturn is going to move into its home sign in Capricorn in December. But right now, Saturn is sitting smack dab heading right into, almost by the end of the month, will be on the Galactic Center. And so this is this strange magnetic pulling center part of all of the surrounding galaxies. And it has this energy of destiny. And so it feels like we're getting to an understanding of our karmic destiny. Because Saturn's like the taskmaster, like, what are you doing? Get on your path, and you're doing it wrong, and, reevaluate and all these things. And so with Saturn there in the Galactic Center, after these 2 years, basically around about in Sagittarius, and it's saying, okay, humanity, Sagittarius is the seeker. It wants to go, Jupiter's the ruler, they're in Scorpio, delving into the deepest secrets. But the reason why we're going into these deepest secrets, into these shadowy places, is so we can expand our consciousness. And we have been so limited in our consciousness evolution through the forces that are working in our world that don't want to see that happen. But Saturn coming up on the Galactic Center saying, hey, humanity, your karma is to evolve. Your destiny is to seek beyond the illusions. And that's happening right now. And part of the energy of that is that Neptune has been really triggered with all of the planets making trines from Scorpio, which is harmonious. So harmonious trigger of Neptune, but Neptune is our mysteries, our fantasies, what is kind of our delusions, our addictions, and our connection, though, to spirit, to spiritual source, to this feeling of spirituality. And so in the middle of the month, Venus makes a beautiful trine to Neptune. And this is some of the beautiful harmonious energy that makes 1111 this powerful gateway. And that 1111 gateway, that energy begins on 1111, but it goes through to this new moon. So up to this new moon is a powerful time for manifesting dreams, as far as not in the real world so much in the real world action, but your internal adjustment to manifesting the reality you want by hooking you back up to cosmic energy. And we've all been kind of walking around in this life separated and feeling like we're all alone, just walking around as egos in bodies, and we're really actually this part of this whole spiritual consciousness. And so the Saturn on the Galactic Center is saying, hey, humanity, wake up to your true karma, to your true destiny, which is to evolve and understand who you are as spiritual beings. And so a lot of us in our life are coming up against this wall. It's like a physical 3D wall, and it feels like, God, it's like, I can't expand. I can't feel that connection to source I used to be able to feel so easily. And so these factors, these forces, these mysteries that have been keeping us from our true destiny are starting to be revealed. And with Venus and Neptune in that harmonious trine, and the reason why it's so powerful is because Jupiter and Venus come together for a conjunction. Now that happens in the middle of the month, and we're feeling that right up to this new moon too. So Jupiter is a massive expander, and we've got Jupiter and Venus in Scorpio, and just massive expansion of this true love energy, true love, true spiritual love. And a lot of us, like Venus, can get caught up in this love of earthly love or our relationships and kind of what our basic needs and trying to get our needs met. But Venus, when it comes together with Neptune, is about universal love, tapping into what's out there in the cosmos for us, like this deep feeling of fulfillment that's available to us just by existing, by tapping in to our existence. So this is going to be a part of the activation. I hope you can join me for that live activation, because we're going to get into this watery energy with all this powerful Neptune and Pisces energy, and open this, tap into this universal gateway energy of cosmic love, and open up our lives to that feeling of connection again. So that will be really powerful. I hope you can join me for the live activation. So part of the reason this Neptune energy is so intense is because Neptune is getting ready to turn direct. Neptune is a huge, slow-moving planet. It's just like, it just barely makes it through. It just takes a long time to move through a sign. And when it turns direct, it's basically, this is kind of that cosmic messages of the universe right now, because Neptune's turning direct at 11 degrees, and it's been at 11 degrees, and it's going to be at 11 degrees, and it'll be for months. And this 11-11 point with all this astrology coming together is saying something here. Now 11 is, you can look at it as the 11th house, which is the, Aquarius rules the 11th house. This is our house of community, our house of connection to the bigger picture, of house of using technology to be able to create a more humanitarian culture so that it helps everyone. And we're moving into this Aquarian age. So this 1111 gateway is like, whoa, humanity, activation of this 11 number. So with Neptune turning direct, Neptune's that spiritual connection, and we have a lot of that available to us through this gateway. But also, Neptune is our delusions. And with all the Scorpio energy and wanting to get underneath the shadow and find the truth, as Neptune goes direct, we're going to have some revelations in our life, some understanding, the mysteries kind of coming clear. Now, part of that is because at the middle of the month and leading up to this new moon, Mercury is square to Neptune. And so Mercury is our every day-to-day understanding. And Neptune's like, whoa, mysterious, like fantasy, delusion, who knows what's real, right? And Mercury's like, no, we need to know what's real. Mercury is like analyzer. And so they're squaring up. And that energy, just as Neptune's turning direct, is like, there's some understanding for us here. Some deeper understanding of this delusion of separation, and opening up to reconnect to cosmic love. And when we're doing this together collectively, even a few people getting together, so like on this activation, like bringing this energy into the consciousness and offering this to the collective consciousness, tapping in to all the other light workers that are tapping into this gateway. And we can just really kind of open up humanity, be a part of this experience of opening up our cosmic consciousness. These energies are coming in, but are you going to be available to receive them? Can you sit, slow down in life? This Scorpio energy is just like, whoa, sometimes it can just feel really intense. And if you just slow down and understand that you're in a process of awakening, and that you're in that uncomfortable place because you're about to get to a place of way more light and way more connection and a feeling of spiritual support. It's there for us. We're just stuck in this illusion of separation. So that is really potent. Now, it's interesting though, because right after Mercury makes that square with Neptune, that tension around trying to understand these delusions, it makes a trine with the North Node. So it's bringing this energy of our future karma, our path with that North Node in Leo. And it's like, okay, so we're looking at our delusions, and are those in the way of our true path, humanity? Saturn right there on the Galactic Center. I mean, you could not set this up any better. This is a massive culmination of the 2017 astrology, because Saturn is trining up as it's there on the Galactic Center with Uranus. Now, this is a big part of the 2017 astrology. Saturn, we talked about, it's a taskmaster, duty, karma, the father, the law. But trining up with Uranus is like the awakener. It's like lightning fast change, information from above, synchronicities, things coming. And so our karma and our energy of awakening are in this harmonious trine, and they've been dancing throughout all of 2017, coming back for their last round in this dance, the last dance of this Saturn trining Uranus. So there's a lot of magic happening here around having a harmonized awakening and saying, humanity, with that Saturn on the Galactic Center, we don't have a choice anymore. We're running out of choices. We're coming up against the wall, and we're all feeling that in our life, and it's hard to understand because there's so much going on in the bigger picture in the collective consciousness and behind the scenes, politically and financially, that we're not being told about right now, and it's bringing a very uncertain energy. But if you can keep in mind that this energy is our awakening, it's our destiny, we're moving into the light, but it's really dark just before the light, just before that snake sheds its skin. Very uncomfortable and very vulnerable, because the snake is stuck and can't move. That's its mode to get away from predators. So we're all feeling squeezed and like there's no room to breathe and vulnerable to predatory energies, and it just feels really weird and uncomfortable. But it's because we're moving into the light, and so it's darkest right before the dawn. And in your personal life, when you're feeling heavy, or in the collective consciousness, that's just before we shift into a new consciousness level. So hang in there and know that there is magic afoot, and there is intense realizations coming. There is truths being revealed, And it all has to do with what is in the way of moving forward. And that Mars square Pluto is like, okay, there's tension here. Mars says, enough. Like we're sitting here at the gate waiting. And of course, in Libra, he kind of feels like that. But squaring up with Pluto, in Libra, having that energy of diplomatic solutions that can be available, so we don't need to go to war, in our life. We can stop the battle and come into, when you feel your cosmic connection, when you feel like you're supported by the universe, you're tapped in, your energy's flowing, you're not looking for a battle, And so all this stuff from our subconscious and our collective consciousness is coming up to the surface, is all of this there's definitely deep pain and trauma. There's aggression energy. Underneath that pain and trauma is frustration at being a victim. And so we're all kind of feeling these places in our life where we feel victim to our reality. And Saturn's saying, hey, you're here to grow and you're a galactic being, so get in touch with that and go ahead and reach beyond the veil of illusion so that you can come out of the illusion of separation and feel yourself supported and loved by the cosmos. Again, with that Venus and then Jupiter trining up with Neptune and saying that maybe it's also the harmonious, tapping into that universal love is going to help us be able to face the delusions that are coming into clarity right now in our life. So a really potent, really powerful time. And also the sun is trining Chiron around this new moon. And Chiron, the wounded healer, we've just coming out of that Saturn square Chiron. And so the sun is our identity and kind of our ego sense, our sense of self. And we are looking at an opportunity here for a new identity that's not based on trauma, that's not based on hidden things from the collective subconsciousness of generational pain or what's happened to humanity that we just keep living out again and again and again. So there's a bright future ahead of us, but we're in a kind of a very dark and confusing place right now. So just keep that in mind, that your shedding skin, the uncomfortable feelings are really just going to shift and move through. Keep that. Scorpio is fixed energy and it's a water sign. So that's the challenge of Scorpio, is to keep that emotional energy moving so that it doesn't kind of eat at you and cause you to act in ways that, you don't really want to act. So just try to be around flowing water and use water and nature. Drink lots of water. Let the tears come. It's a time for deep emotions, and it might not even make sense where these feelings come from. It doesn't matter. Just let them move and let this energy happen in your life, and focus on that beautiful, magical, mystical Venus trining Neptune with Jupiter, opening up this cosmic portal gateway. Saturn trining Uranus, opening up miracles and messages from above. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to the live activation. I'll see you then. Until then, namaste. I'm Adrienne Elise.